Testing, testing, testing. Atire. Etwala. Oh, etwala.
1 2 1 2.
1 2 1 2 3. Yeah. Into robo whatever.
If I take out the stand, anthem, what if I take out the stand? Are you right?
One, two, 1 2. 1 2 1 2.
Take two left, one. You, and you're looting. Fine. Good morning. Good morning. Dumelang, Tobela, Absheni. Honorable members that are with me today, the royal councils and traditional councils that are with us today, the leadership of the political parties that are here with us, the leaders of the civil society, the leaders of the organized union, religious leaders, business forums, greetings to you all.
Xewani eka n'wina hinkwenu vamabindzu varhangeri na hinkwavo lava nga mi hlaya hi ku hambanahambana ka n'wina.
Can we respect the meeting? If your phone is ringing, you just go to the passage and then respond to it.
Hi kombela hi xixima nhlengeletano loko foni ya n'wina yi rila humelani handle mi hi xixima mi hi yingisela mi ri handle.
As it is a government event, we are going to open formally by singing the national anthem.
tanihileswi ku nga ntirho wa mfumo hi ta pfula ximfumo hi ku yimbelela risimu ra rixaka.
Can we all then stand up?
A hi yimeni hi milenge hinkwerhu.
Ngosi sikeleli Afrika maluphakanyiso phondo lwayo yizwa imithandazo yethu Ngosi sikelela thina lusapho lwayo Murena buluka sichaba sa Yesu Uferise dintwali matwenye Usibuluke sichaba sa Yesu sichaba sa South Africa, South Africa. Edi blofa non se yemel, edi deep defa non siem. Warren sie perdes, va di gran se anfortje. Sounds they call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. I'm going to allow the members of the Portfolio Committee of Public Works and Infrastructure in Parliament to introduce themselves.
Inkomu ni niya pfumelela swirho swa parlamente sa committee ya public works ku va va titivisa un'we un'we.
Okay, we'll start at my far right.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Samantha Gray-Murray. I'm a member of the Democratic Alliance and a member of Parliament, and I live in Graaff-Reinet. They also call it Ikhafu in the Eastern Cape. Thank you for being here today.
Inkomu vito ra vona I Marie Smith va huma a Graaff-Reinet I xirho xa parliament xa committee leyi hi nga hlangana hi yona namuntlha va huma eka vandla ra DA.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Madeleine Hicklin. I'm also a member of the Democratic Alliance. I hail from Midrand in Gauteng. Thank you so much for giving us your time.
Na mina ni xirho xa vandla ra DA ni xirho xa committee leyi ya parliament hi nga hlangana hi yona ni tshama a Midrand a Gauteng. Inkomu.
Thobela yo bolela mo ke mathapelo siwi sa go tswa ko mokgatlhong wa EFF go tswa ko Kimberley Northern Cape.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sharon van Skalkwyk, a member of the Portfolio Committee. I'm also a deployee of the African National Congress, and I'm glad to be with you today. Thank you.
Inkomu mina ni xirho xa vandla ra ANC na mina ni xirho xa committee leyi nga hlangana hi yona namuntlha. Inkomu.
Sanbonani Lindiwe Mjobo from KwaZulu-Natal, deployed by African National Congress.
Mina Lindiwe Mjobo kusuka a KwaZulu-Natal ni xirho xa vandla ra African National Congress.
Good morning, Sanbonani. My name is Wayne Thring. I represent the African Christian Democratic Party, and I am from KwaZulu Natal. Thank you.
Shawani Vitaramina Ewen Pling ni Yimele Vandara ni Shirosha Parliament na sonan takile kubakwana na muntala. Inko.
Sanbonani, igama lami u-Alpha Sawamathebula, ngilunga le Parliament, ngimele i-African National Congress, umbutho wabantu. Ngiyabonga.
Inkomo ni Mathebula noma ampumalanga ni mele Vandara African National Congress leri kunga mfumo wa vanhu. Inkomo.
Abusheni, Vitorame Metim Mashele, the Oma Bushback region, Pumalanga, they represent African National Congress, a National Assembly.
Good morning, my name is Tim Mashele. I'm from Canningmore in Pumalanga. I represent the African National Congress in the National Assembly.
Ndiyabulela kakhulu, ndiyabonga. From all the members of the Portfolio Committee. My name is Nolita Ntobongwana. I am the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Public Works and Infrastructure in the National Assembly. I am deployed by the African National Congress. I am from Eastern Cape.
Ne mutsamashitulu wa committee le ya Public Works ntanoma a Eastern Cape ni Shirosha Vandara ANC na swana ni Shirosha committee le tani mutsamashitulu kusuka a Parliament a National Assembly.
Amongst us today, we have the mayor, Honorable Mangena, who has joined us today to participate in these public hearings. If you can just raise your hand, Honorable Mayor.
Thank you.
We also have the Speaker of Greater Tzanin Municipality, Mayor Dikeledi Mentle.
Na speakera sha masipala nkulu wa Zanini manana Dikeledi Mentle.
We have also one of our colleagues from Parliament, Honorable Desiree van de Walt.
Na un'wana wa swirho swa hina kusuka eParliament manana Desiree van de Walt.
And also amongst us, as we have indicated earlier on, we have leaders of the political parties. The one that I've seen so far, it is the chairperson of the Economic Freedom Fighters in Limpopo, Ufighter Butani.
Inkomo ithela amukela na varhangeri va mavandla politiki ku hambanahambana loyi ni nga n'wi vona exikarhi ka hina mutshamaxitulu wa vandla ra EFF laha ka xifundzankulu xa Limpopo muchaviseki Josie Butani.
Thank you. We also have the provincial secretary of the ANC in Limpopo, Comrade Soviet Lkhanyane.
Ina matsalankulu wa vandla leri fumaka ra ANC laha Limpopo muchaviseki Soviet Lkhanyane.
We have our leaders of society, our traditional councils, our royal families amongst us, but we will introduce them later on when we get their names. You are all welcome here.
Van'wani nga na vona exikarhi ka hina I varhangeri kusuka eka vukosi na mimfumo ya muganga lava hi nga ta va amukela ximfumo endzhaku ka nkarhi kambe hinkwerhu mi amukelekile.
We are here as the Portfolio Committee bringing to you the Expropriation Bill number 23 of 2020. This draft bill, oh, should I continue?
Okay, hi tela namuntlha tani hi komiti ku tisa nawumbisi lowu wa ku tekiwa ka misava kumbe expropriation bill lowu hi nga tela wona namuntlha la emahlweni ka n'wina.
This draft bill has been made to repeal Act number 63 of 1975, the Expropriation Act.
Se nawu lowu wu endleriwe ku va wu ta tshama ematshan'weni ya nawu luwa wa nkarhi wa mfumo wa xipolitiki mfumo wa xihlawuhlawu wa 1960
Act number 63 of 1975.
nawu wa 63 wa lembe ra 1975.
An act which was made by the previous government, that is pre-1994, by the apartheid government.
Se lo a wu ri nawu lowu a wu vekiwe hi mfumo luwa wa xihlawuhlawu ku nga si fika lembe ra 1994 loko hi ta va na ntshunxeko.
An act which predates even our constitution that we adopted in 1996.
Nawu lowu wu ve kona khale hi nga si va na vumbiwankulu bya tiko lowu byi hi nga va na byona hi lembe ra 1996.
Therefore, this draft bill that we're bringing to you, it seeks to repeal that act.
Se nawumbisi lowu hi wu tisaka hi ta wu andlala emahlweni ka n'wina xikongomelo xa wona i ku tshama ematshan'weni ya nawu luwa wa khale a wu nga kona.
And again, as we all know, that there are many expropriating authorities. For example, the municipalities has the right to expropriate, and even some departments have the right to expropriate.
Se ha swi tiva leswaku ku na swiyenge swo hambanahambana swo tala leswi nga na matimba ya ku tekela vanhu misava. Ha swi tiva ku masipala wa swi kota ku teka misava na tindzawulo tin'wana ta mfumo ta swi kota ku tekela vanhu misava.
And all these expropriating authorities, they use their own ways or regulations of expropriating.
Se minhlangano leyi kota ku tekela vanhu misava leyi nga kona yi tirhisa swinawanawani swa yona swo hambanahambana.
This draft bill that we're bringing to you, it then seeks to have a uniform way of expropriating land for public use and public interest.
Se nawumbisi lowu hi ta ku andlala amahlweni ka n'wina xikongomelo xa wona i ku hi ta va na nawu wun'we wo angarhela lowu nga ta teka misava ku va yi tirhisiwa hi vanhu hi ndlela yo xiximeka.
According to the parliamentary processes of ensuring that a bill is made into an act, we are now in the third phase of our process.
Se hi ku ya hi maendlelo ya palamende yo tiyisisa leswaku nawumbisi wa pasisiwa wu hundzuka nawu wa tiko hi le ka xiyenge xa vunharhu laha hi nga kona sweswi.
It started with the Portfolio Committee seeking written submissions on the 10th of December up to the 28th of February 2021.
Se aka xiyenge xo sungula hi ve kusukela hi ti 10 ta December komiti leyi yi kombela vanhu leswaku va tisa matitwelo ya vona hi ku tsala kunene kusukela hi ti 10 ta December ku fika amahele ya February ya 2021.
And on the 24th and 25th of March this year, we listened to oral submissions from individuals, political organizations, and civil organizations.
Se hi ti 24 na ti 25 ta March rona lembe leri hi ve hi tshama hansi hi yingisela vanhu lava a va tisa matitwelo ya vona hi ku vulavula kunene ku ve vanhu vo huma aka mavandla ya tipolitiki na tinhlengeletano to yimela vaaki na vanhu lava a va tiyimela hi voxe.
And today we are here for public hearings.
Se namuntlha la hi tini ku va ka xiyenge xa vunharhu hi twa matitwelo ya vanhu matitwelo ya vaaki hi ku hambanahambana.
We are therefore expecting you to express your views without fear or favor.
Se hi langutela leswaku mi humesela matitwelo kumbe mavonelo ya n'wina a rivaleni ku nga ri na ku chava kumbe ku kanakanisiwa hi nchumu.
Of whether you support the bill or you do not support the bill.
Hambi loko ku ve ma wu seketela nawumbisi lowu kumbe a mi wu seketeli.
We are here to remind you that you elected us to go to parliament to make laws.
Hi tele ku mi tsundzuxa leswaku mi hi hlawurile ku va hi ya a parlamente hi ya endla milawu.
And when we are there, we have to take mandate from you.
Se loko hi ri le parlamente hi fanele ku va hi tala hi ta twa hi n'wina ku mi lava yini.
So in this hall, you are all free to speak.
Se eka ndhawu leyi hi nga hlangana ka yona namuntlha mi tshunxekile ku vulavula.
With those few words, you are all welcome.
Hi maritonyana lamatsongo mi amukelekile.
What we are going to do, we are going to point 10 people at a time.
Se lexi hi nga ta xi endla hi ta kombela vanhu va 10 hi nkarhi wu ri wun'we.
We have 9 rows here.
So hi na mintila ya 9 laha kusuka hala ku ya fika hala.
Our first block is these first 3 rows
Se
on my right.
se xigava xa hina xo sungula ku ta va mintila leyi nharhu leyi nga hala xineneni xa mina.
3 rows in the middle.
Then xigava xa vumbirhi ku ta va mintila leyi nharhu ya la xikarhi.
And 3 rows on my left.
Se xo hetisela ku ta va mintila leyi nharhu yi nga le ximatsini.
We are going to give you only 3 minutes to speak.
Se munhu un'wana na un'wana u ta nyikiwa ntsena timinetse tinharhu ku va a vulavula.
Once you exceed 3 minutes, we have to stop you.
Loko hi vona u hundzisa timinete tinharhu hi ta boheka ku ku yimisa.
You are free to speak in any of the 11 official languages.
Mi tshunxekile ku vulavula hi ririmi rin'wana na rin'wana eka leta 11 leti nga pfumeleriwa laha Afrika-Dzonga.
And when you speak, please introduce yourself and state the political party, the civil organization, the forum, the traditional council that you are representing. And even if you are just speaking as an individual, you just say so.
Se loko I vulavula wa yima I ti tivisa vito ra wena leswaku u huma ka nhlengeletani yini ku nga va ya tipolitiki kumbe kereke kumbe yo yimela vaaki na loko ku ve wo ti yimela tani hi munhu wa ti tivisa u ti tivisa hi ndlela yaleyo se I vulavula.
I must state clearly that we had a good meeting yesterday in Thohoyandou.
Se mi nge ni tiyisisa ku tolo hi va na nhlengeletani ya kahle swinene a Thohoyandou.
No one was shouted at.
Ku hava loyi a nga kariheriwa kumbe ku beriwa huwa.
Even if you don't agree with what the speaker is saying, please keep quiet.
Hambi loko u nga pfumelelani na leswi munhu a swi vulaku hi kombela u miyela.
And again, please don't interrupt one who is speaking.
Nakambe mi komberiwa ku I nga kanganyisi kumbe ku kavanyeta munhu loyi a nga ku vulavuleni.
As I'm going to sit down,
Loko na ha ta ya tshama hansi
can I please explain again?
ni kombela ku tlhela ni hlamusela nakambe.
We are here for the draft bill, Expropriation Bill 23 of 2020, not the amendment of Section 25.
Mi nge ni tlhe ni tshikelela nakambe ni nga si tshama hansi leswaku laha namuntlha hi tele nawumbisi wa 23 of 2020 wa ku tekiwa ka misava, Expropriation Bill, ku nga ri nawu luwa wa ku cinciwa ka vumbiwa bya tiko kumbe Section 25.
Thank you. Can you then raise your hands? We said we'll start with the first 3 rows, including umama no buti there, that tree. We are in this block.
Hi kombela eka tlhelo leri lava va lava ku vulavula va nga yimisa mavoko ku katsa na lava nharhu va nga tshamela hala tlhelo leriya se hi ta va kombela.
Thank you. Chair, are you on this side or on this side? Okay, you are on this side, ne? Okay, then no, please lower your hand. And you, the white shirt, lower your hand, and you. We are still on this side. No, you are on this side, Kuti. Yeah, we here. we're looking for hands here.
Hi lava mavoko aka mintila leyi nharhu
Okay.
yi nga tlhelo rala, lava nga hala a va yisi mavoko hansi.
Our number one is Mayor there at, no, on that, just by the wall, by the wall.
Vanhu lava nga tshama le khumbini le, lava nga na
Yeah,
umbrella.
it's number one. Number two, yes. Number two, the black t-shirt. Number two. Number three. Yes, number three. Yeah. Here is number three. Yes. Number four, number five. We go to that side when you are appointed. You are number three, Puti. Please, those that have pointed, they must go to those seats. Number six, chairperson number seven, number eight. We only have 8 hands on this side. Okay, number 9. We said Galogo on these rows. We're coming to this row. That will be number 9.
Okay.
Thank you. Let me remind you again, it's 3 minutes. We will be counting. And if you exceed the 3 minutes, we will then have to stop you.
Se tlhe mi tsundzuxana kambe munhu un'wana na un'wana I ta vulavula timinutes tinharhu, loko u hundzisa timinutes tinharhu I ta boheka ku yimisa.
We only have get 9 hands on this block. I hope that they're not going to come and want to raise their hands again. We are done with this block.
Se ku ve na vanhu va nkaya ntsena lava nga yimisa mavoko eka tlhelo leri. Se hi tshemba ku ve nge vuyi va hi karhata hi ku loko hi heta laha hi ta va hi hetini hi tlhelo leri.
Okay. A reminder, please introduce yourself. You tell us who you are before you present your view. Thank you.
Se ku mi tsundzuxa mi sungula hi ku titivisa ku hi n'wina mani mi nga si hi nyika mavonelo ya n'wina.
Ngabolela. Thobela. Yo emi go mo ke Sophie Makgowa o dula lenyenye. Nna ke bona gore rena batho ba South Africa, rena batho ba Limpopo, a re tlogeleng bogodu, re tlogele go utswa, re ratane, re kwelane botlhoko. Crime ke yona e re tshwenyago le mona. Botšheba a re rataneng, ke feditše.
I go by the name Sophie Mokoena from Linyenye. What I would like to say is that as South Africans, we need to love each other. We need to stop the theft and the corruption. That is all that I wanted to say.
No, thank you, honorable members of the National Assembly and leaders of various political formations, except for the DA, because the DA is antagonistic to expropriation of land without compensation. My name is Datlas Ngobeni. On behalf of the Congress of South African Students, COSAS, as its national spokesperson, we have came here today to support the bill which has been put in place by the National Assembly around the nationalization or the expropriation of land without compensation. We support this bill necessarily because it seeks to address the historic injustices of the land which was dispossessed from the people of South Africa, forcefully so by the apartheid government. But in supporting the bill, we must not ignore the fact that outside of education, we are only going to expropriate land, and the young people of this country are not going to be familiar on how to utilize the land for correct purposes, for instance, food security. We are supporting the bill. we are very clear without any fear of contradiction or intimidation by anyone. The land needs to be expropriated for the betterment of the people of South Africa and their lives, because even to date, there are still people who work in the farms who, when a white boss feels that, or when he feels dim, they just evict those black people in those farms. So the expropriation of land without compensation and the amendment of this bill also seeks to address those challenges we are faced with as a black majority of this country. Thank you.
a ke dumedise setšhaba ka moka ba lebeng gona mo ke David Nkgapele ke le ntona ya kgoši Mogoboye e le batlhabine ke tlo bolela ka land claim ke bolela ke le bantšhitše ba land affairs ba ile re mmušo wa lena re a le leboga ge le tlile la theoga la tla go rena setšhaba la tla mo setšhabeng gore setšhaba se kgone go kwa dillo tša le go tlo dillo tša setšhaba bjale rena re emetše magoši mo re le ba bangwe ba magoši ba re gopelang gore lena mmušo wa lena wa rena re le kgethile gore le be kua parlamenteng mara la lebala gore tšhaba se le na le sona mo ke setšhaba sa magoši ene la lebala gore lefase le ke le modimo a filego magoši ene la se rate go šomišana le magoši le nke le inoute ntho e le lebelele le ye le kgone go e lebelela gore nna magoši ge le dia dilo tše tša lena le ba beile mo kae le mantona a bona magoši ka gare ga maofisi tša bona ga ba gole ba bangwe ka gare ga mantona a bona le bašomišane ba bona magoši ga ba na se ba se kry-ang mantona ba le volunteera ga go na ntho e nngwe e ba e kry-ang ka gare ga taba tša go emela setšhaba sa bona parliament re leboga ge le tlile gore nke le lokise taba le claim di gona mo tše e le gore kgoši Mogoboye o ile a claima naga ye ka 1980 ka di-10 tša kgwedi ya bo 10 mo ke tshwereng dokomane ya gona ye e le gore go tloga moo ka 98 go ta fitlhela today di-claim tšeo ga di tsamaye re na le portion ya tuas ye e le goreng go tlogela ka ngwago until today monna a emetše go di-claim tša setšhaba kua o belela fela gore o palelwa ko go dia verification list go lebelela dinaga tšewe go dia bjang ba dile dilo ka mokana tsona ba jikile ba di lebelela ba lebelela verification list o dula e mixa ntšha ya mixentšhega mamotlha o ntšha ba o tsenya ba bangwe dia bjang taba gona e fela re be re re government ka ge le tlile mono ge nkebe ngwaga o mongwe le o mongwe goba ka moraga ga mengwaga e mebedi le fele le tla mo setšhabeng re tlo le kgetha setšhaba se se tlo le kgetha se tlo le kgetha la dula le mo madulong a lena ka bokgoni bja lena mara ge le tlile gore re le boutele mara ka morago le sa dire diphethagalo tšeo le tshepisang tšhaba sa modimo punishment e tlo tla go lena setšhaba se se ka se le kgethe mmušo o tlo dula le ntse le lwana le ya godimo lefase diphathi tše di ka se felego ba diphathi tše dintši tše e le gore di tswa mo mmušong ka o teng diphathi tše di tletšego mo di tswa mo go the ANC ka moka di topogane di ile kwa le kwa ka baka la ge e le gore boetapele ga bo gabotse mo go lena bjale re be re kgopela re tšhaba sa modimo ke se ke kaela gagolo ke na le yo mongwe wa mošate wa ka kgonang go bolela ka taba tše ke morena molewa yo e le goreng legatong la kgoši Mogoboye a ka kgona go tlhalosa tše dingwe tša mabaka ke a leboga ke be ke kgopela re ne di-claim tše di claimilego le di fetšang tše di claimilwe ka 1980 di felele batho bao ba kry ditshwanelo tša bona mafase ao a claimilego a boye le teng ba gona re tloga re leboga tšhaosama. Thank you.
I would love to thank you for taking into account all our cries and coming here today to hear our cries. What he said was they've got some issues which need to be resolved from 1980s. One of them is they've got chieftaincies. They have chieftaincies. They have chieftaincies who are not being paid. Those are some of the issues that need to be addressed by the government because you're being elected by them to come and represent the country. So what he basically said is that you need to act as the way they elected you because in the, what do you call, sorry. Oh, there is a division within the government because of the way the ruling parties are doing things.
Can I go on? Good morning to all members of and staff. Also to members of the African National Congress, of course, led by our PS. I am Molapisani, GP, representing the ANC. That is stating that we support the expropriation of property and land as a just and an equitable process to restore the dignity of our people in addressing both access to property and land. That of such without compensation is part of that process. For the ANC, this is about the redressing historical injustice and dispossession of the black majority. It is also a vital opportunity to unlock growth, redistribute assets, and promote socio-economic transformation. The ANC program provides a way to address the land question and build productive assets to our people. Of course, we are guided by our 54th National Conference, which has a resolution to that effect. I quote one of the resolutions: expropriation of land without compensation should be among the key mechanisms available to government to give effect to land reform and redistribution, close quote. As the ANC, we submit that in line with the Constitution of the Republic and the Property Clause, the Expropriation Bill is the draft law of general application that will allow, under certain circumstances, expropriation of property and land without compensation. We support the Expropriation Bill 2020 so as to redistribute property and land to address the centuries-old national grievances of land property, forced dispossessions. We support the framework in the bill in line with the Constitution to guide the procedures for expropriation of property, including land, by organs of state. We support in particular Clause 12C, which allows where appropriation without compensation may be just and equitable in terms of constitution, that in the public interest for property and land earmarked for socio-economic reform and redistribution. Therefore, on that note, we support that the expropriation authority is the state, since this bill is about public interest and public purpose and must determine those instances where compensation may be paid under Clause 12A, and where no compensation will be paid under Clause 12C. That is a function. Okay, I therefore submit. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can we allow to come in?
Thanks, Chair. Good morning. My name is Ivy Shibambu, standing here representing the African National Congress. We are here to support the bill, but we are not just supporting this bill. We are informed by the mandate that the African National Congress took in its 54th National Conference at Nasrec to see it fit that it must unite the communities and black communities as such in terms of bringing back the land to the communities to improve the social economic status of our communities. We are supporting that the expropriating authority is the state, since this bill is about public interest and public purposes, and must determine those instances where compensation may be paid and where no compensation will be paid, according as advised by the clauses as clause 12A and 12C. That this is a function of the government, not the courts, and if anyone has a grievances, they have the right to approach the courts. Courts cannot be the ones to make determinations and compensation and no compensation. Therefore, as the African National Congress, we submit in line with the Constitution of the Republic and the Property Clause. The Appropriation Bill is the draft law of general application that will allow, under certain circumstances, expropriation of property and land without compensation. We support the Expropriation Bill 2020 so as to redistribute property and land to address the centuries-old national grievances of land and property forced dispossession. We support this framework in the bill in line with the Constitution to guide the process and procedures for expropriation of property, including land by state organs. The African National Congress supports the expropriation of property and land as a just and equitable process to restore the dignity that our people have lost since the land was taken away from them. The power of controlling the land was taken away from Africans. Hence, the African National Congress has taken this resolution to restore that dignity of our people, to reclaim the land to our people, to the rightful owners of this country. So, Kasipedi, Nkanori, Nkabe, but Baba sharing this land, Bafilwe, Reberitari, Aba Opelesi Filasela South, Seunkatimileng Sona, Dumela Rukisibu Sache Mure. So it is time that the land comes back to the rightful owners. That is the majority of this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Apologies, Budi, but we have interpreters here. I think up at the end, I don't know whether she spoke Sepedi or what. So we need to know.
Okay. She's at the end. The people who actually took this land by force are even dead. So we must be singing a hymn that says, "What you had borrowed to me must be returned now." Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair, and greetings to the leadership collective of our parliament. My name is Joshua Matlou from the African National Congress in Limpopo. Chair, it is quite correct that some of my colleagues spoke in relation to the clauses that should be supported, particularly on the Appropriation Bill of 2020, in relation to clause number 12C, and also clause number 12A, that speaks to the powers and functions of the state being the appropriate. That we 100% support as the African National Congress and believe that will also redeem the responsibilities of the Court of Laws in relation to issues of land. Two, you might be aware, Chair, if not, we give you a historical context that the establishment of the African National Congress in 1912, one of our traditional leaders from this area, Hosim Mhlaba, was part of that delegation. and the main aim of the traditional leader. That's why even when we supported Section 25 amendment, as the African National Congress, we said it should be speeded up so that it speaks basically to the appropriation bill, in the spirit of that particular bill, that also the Constitution of the Republic means to say we need to appropriate the properties, including land, being the responsibility of the state, meaning the organ of the state. That's why, chairs, the African National Congress were saying it will be important for us to make sure that this particular bill is expedited, to make sure that the historical imbalances that have been there historically are able to be addressed. For us to drive the socio-economic transformation of our society, and also to address the contradictions of the past, including issues of gender, and also all disparities that have been there in our society. That's why we are saying it will be important for us as a nation that this is highly expedited. Comrade Gary also spoke in length about this, addressing the historical injustices that have been there in society. I won't go there and repeat it, but we are fully in support, and we believe that yourself, as elected by our country and the nation, you will be able to make sure that the appropriation bill goes to Parliament, is ratified, is signed by law by the President, including the amendment in terms of Section 25 of the Constitution. That is very imperative for us to make sure that they move concurrently for the sake of prosperity and for the sake of a black nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chair. Josie Butani from the EFF here in Limpopo. There was a committee that came here in Limpopo, and we said to that committee anonymously, without any contradiction, that it must go and amend the Constitution. What we are expecting now is a process of amending the Constitution to be taking place. We did not say to Parliament, go and come up with a committee that will tell us how the process must go of distributing land. We said go and amend. And then we said that within an understanding that there is no legislation that is beyond the earth or that is bigger than the Constitution. Now, our understanding and interpretation now is that you want to be seen doing something, so that we don't say you are folding your arms on this matter. This must not be a matter of rhetorics. It must not be seen to be done. It must be done. Amendment must be done, and the issues of the bills and all that should follow. And what should then follow after the amendment is the land redistribution bill. You must then do the land tenure bill and the Expropriation Act. So we understand that process, but go back and do the first thing, the first step, which is to amend. Let us not play with English. There is no more time. The issue here is that, in my understanding, you don't want to be seen as the one that amended the bill by those who are handling those that leads government. You don't want the blame to be falling squarely on you. You just say, no, let's say, you are massaging the process. You have all the numbers in Parliament to amend the bill, the Constitution. Why are you not amending it? That's what we are saying. Let's stop playing English here and then massaging the process. The people of Mopani, you came here, they told, go and amend the Constitution. In Capricorn, in Sikukuni, all of them, they said, go and amend the Constitution. What is difficult in doing that? We are still standing on that position that go and amend the Constitution, and the three that I spoke to will then follow. It's as simple as that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Good morning, all. I'm Mabitsela Keifas, the chairperson of the ANC Youth League in Bonfire Maponya branch, where we are now. It's Linyenye. the people of Linyenye were forcefully removed from Zanini in 1963 by the apartheid government. And after some few years, they were given some 20,000 as a sympathy of removing them from their own land. So I'm standing here supporting that. We must expropriate land without compensation because the land was taken from our people, our brothers, our uncles, our forefathers, without consulting anyone. But currently we have to consult because we are in a democratic country. But this should not take more time because the coming generation, our kids, should come and rejoice on what we have done for them. In this month, we are celebrating and commemorating the life of Solomon Mahlangu as he was hanged by the apartheid government. So I'm here as a young person saying, it's a process of consulting because we are in a democratic country. But if it was possible, it was in our arms, or it was supposed to be us who take decisions. We're supposed to be just going and taking the land without consulting anyone because the land was taken from us. I can't go much on what our leaders have already said here, but what I want to say is that as young people, as we are reviving the ANC Youth League, we are coming and we will push our leaders. If they are not going to do it, we will do it as young people. And we will make sure that the youth of 1976 have shown that they can change the world, and the current generation will also do so. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. My name is Shogan Masilu from Tavina, Moboya. I am from the EFF. I am standing here to support the expropriation bill. Chairperson, we do not understand why Parliament is spending money on this process when there is a process, amend the Constitution, and then after amending the Constitution, this committee must bring a legislation informed by the Constitution. We made our submissions into Parliament public hearings on the land question, and we are told members of Parliament to go and amend the Constitution to allow for expropriation of land without compensation into the custody of the state. We are concerned that the expropriation bill that you want us to make input on is legislation that must tell us now that the Constitution allows for expropriation of all land without compensation. This is how the state is going to expropriate land. This is how the land is going to be distributed to everyone equally. And this is how our right to use the land is going to be protected. But since you are here, you must know that our position remains the same. We want all the land to be expropriated without compensation. This is the only way we will address colonial land disposition and the legacy of apartheid. We did not give Parliament a mandate to find ways to pay for land that was stolen. Our land is not commodity and should not be for sale. For the expropriation bill is a necessary distraction, and we see it as a way to hijack the real struggle of black people and will not solve the challenges of land. The money that is available to pay for land must be given to black small-scale farmers. Black people in South Africa need their land to farm, build houses and build businesses, and the expropriation bill is not going to help us in doing any of these things. No legislation is above the Constitution. Parliament, we ask you as young people of this country, we ask you to go and amend the Constitution. We want to use this land for good things. White people stole the land from our forefathers. Then now, why are we asking them nicely to go and amend the Constitution? The time they came to South Africa, they took our land without sitting down with our forefathers and then discussing this thing. But now we're doing favor for them. We are sitting down here, we're wasting time sitting with these people and discussing on how are we going to amend the constitution. Thanks, Chairman.
Thank you to the speakers from this block. Most of you stick to the time. The time is 3 minutes. Once you exceed, we indicate that we have exceeded and then we have to stop. We would like to acknowledge Honorable Kosim Konto, who is one of our colleagues from EFF in Parliament. Honorable Kosi, if you can come and sit on this side.
Ranza kwa amkela mchavseki mkonto lava vanga xirho xa parliament aka vandla ra EFF se hi kombela va ta tshama hala mahlweni.
Thank you. We will do these acknowledgements whenever some of our colleagues from Parliament, they come in. That is why we won't allow a member of Parliament to present any submissions here, because this is still going to Parliament for discussions in which honorable members will have a chance to discuss.
Se ta va hi karhi hi ya emahlweni hi endlisa sweswo loko xirho xin'wana xa parliament xi fika hi nge xi pfumeleli ku va xi tshama hala hikuva loko xi tshame hala swi vula leswaku xi lava ku nyika mavonelo ene xi ta va na nkarhi a parliament wa ku ya hi ya burisana hi timhaka leti hi nga tela tona se loko va fika hi ta va kombela va ta hala mahlweni.
Thank you. Now pointing, I don't know now, the fighter with the white t-shirt has joined that block that I'm through with it.
Yeah.
And I won't point you if you are sitting in the block that I'm through with it. So I'm coming to these middle rows, the 3 rows. Can you please raise your hand?
Se ta ka mintela leyi nharhu ya la xikarhi mintela leyi nharhu hi kombela mi yimisa mavoko.
We will try to, we're dealing with the 3 rows, so the gentleman on the, yeah, thank you. You are number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Oh, there are many in this row. No, we're starting here. Number 5, number 6, number 7. No, put it with the mic. Number 8, number 9, number 10 at the back, yeah. Because maybe there are many hands in this block, maybe we will try and ensure that all those that have raised their hands, we're coming for you. We only take 10 at a time.
Se hi ku hi voni ku na mavoko ya tala ya nga yima aka tlhelo leri hi teka 10 ntsena hi ta vuya endzhaku aka n'wina endzhaku ka nkarhinyana.
Thanks very much, Program Director of the session. Even though that 3 minutes is not sufficient to speak about the injustice that transpired over 400 years ago. My name is Thabo, Chairman Mao Maunatlala, representing the South African Communist Party in this district of Lawrence Poganoga, commonly known as Mopani. As the SACP, we support the bill. The bill aims to address the injustice caused by the colonialism and apartheid. The majority of South Africans were at the receiving end of the vitriolic attack perpetuated by the regime, who was well hell-bent on dispersing our forefathers' land. Expropriation of land without compensation will correct the inequalities, injustice of the past, and it will also restore the dignity to the citizens of this country. We have not converged here to indulge in adventurous ideological battles which makes of sheer rhetoric. We are here to remind you of the flagship document, the Freedom Charter. We need to be consistent in implementing Freedom Charter and not to be selective, that South Africa belongs to all those who live in it. The imperialists have vandalized our forefathers. They have also took the livestock of our forefathers. We are saying that we want back the land. It is palpably known that your DA, your AfriForum, and other Freedom Front Plus will never succumb to this because they are protecting the interest of the white class. The indigenous people were robbed of their precious land, condemned to the hinterland of far-flung areas next to the mountains that is very infertile. Land is prosperity, land is wealth, land is freedom. The Freedom Charter shall be the alpha and omega on this issue. The looming question on expropriation is on the modalities. How do we then distribute land, but in the same vein ensure that the production value chain of agriculture and manufacturing is not compromised? If we expedite this expropriation bill, the landless and the poorest class of our society will benefit immensely, and again, we will be addressing the poverty and inequalities and also unemployment. We also need to conceptualize programs that will help us to establish commercial black farmers. Progress has been slow, therefore we are appealing that the land reform warrants to be expedited and get rid of the red tapes and bureaucracies. In peroration, as I conclude, as the party, we're inclined to believe that the land wealth should be shared. We must broaden this issue of land and not only confine it to agriculture. People in the cities need land to stay. We need land for production activities. Any proposals that seeks to cast aspersion on the expropriation bill will be tantamount to consistent to imperialist agenda. It will remain an indelible chagrin or humiliation after 20 years of attaining power and continue to lament. We therefore continue to, thanks very much. I therefore, in light of what I've asserted before, submit that as the party we support the bill. Thanks very much.
Before he speaks, I want again to appeal to the House that when there is a speaker on the floor, we must not make noise. As much as we are recording, so if there is a lot of noise behind the speaker, even the recording won't be clear. So we are appealing to everyone in the House that when there is a speaker on the floor, we must not make noise. Thank you.
ba re ba kgopela gore ge motho a imo mo pele a bolela le homole ka moka gobane go ne le mo e le goreng ba gatiša mo ke gore di-voice tša rena ka mo morago di kgone go se kwale.
Thank you, Chair, and you are encouraged. The leader of the African members of the ANC here, led by Comrade Soviet. I, Patrick Mafumulele Matebule, representing Sanko, will support the ANC in expropriation of property and land as a just and equitable process to restore the dignity of our people in addressing both access to property and land, and that expropriation of such without compensation is part of that process. For the ANC, this is about, redressing historical injustice possession of black majority. It is also a vital opportunity to unlock growth, redistribute assets, and promote socio-economic transformation. The ANC's program provides a way to address the land question and build productive assets for our people. We are guided by the 54th National Conference resolution, which states as an extract, expropriation of land without compensation should be among the key mechanisms available to government to give effect to land reform and redistribution. We submit that in line with the Constitution of the Republic and the Property Clause, the Expropriation Bill is a draft law of general application that will allow, under certain circumstances, expropriation of property and land without compensation. We support the Expropriation Bill 2020 so as to redistribute property and land to address the centuries-old national grievance of land and property forced deposit. We support the framework in the bill in line with the Constitution to guide the process and procedures for expropriation of property, including land, by organs of states. We support in particular Clause 12C, which allows where expropriation without compensation may be just and equitable in terms of the Constitution and in the public interest of property and land earmarked for socio-economic reform and redistribution. We support that the expropriation authority is the state, since this bill is about public interest and public purpose and must be determined those instances where compensation may be paid, Clause 12A, and where no compensation will be paid, that is Clause 12C. That this is a function of the government, not the courts. And if anyone has a grievance, they have the right to approach the court. Courts cannot be the ones to make determination of compensation of or no compensation. Chair, we want also to submit as Sanko that this is not a banana republic. It is not a lawless country. We therefore say all legislative efforts to accelerate the return of the land of the people must be done lawfully and in line with the provisions of the Constitution. May God give you wisdom as you execute, as you consolidate this process. For you know what wisdom is. It means you will have. Thank you. Mandla!
Thank you very much, Chairperson of the day of this session. When we first came in this hall, is it in 2018, we told you to go to Parliament and expropriate land without compensation. You still come again and ask us about expropriation bill. We have long told you to go and expropriate. We are young people of this country and we are very patient. We are still discussing this thing even today. 2 years back, we spoke about the very same issue. This white, you can see even here, there are no white people here. You know why they're not here? They're busy fencing the land. You go to Mukets now, Fanzel is fencing the land. To make it even impossible, even if you want to compensate them, it's going to be difficult. Because you don't even know the, what do you call, the meters of his yard and all that. Busy fencing, you go to Palabora, use R71, they're busy extending their yards. And they're not only doing that, they're also blocking waters. The main rivers, Chedi Fetankamara, the Plaschawan. Babloka Metsura Sky Buka Letaba, Pula Nilambe, Maraona Maids Gabulanga or Batwana Babas. And a lot Bizmura discuss expropriate land without compensation. Busy discussing. They're not even come here. They're not even bothered because they know that they've got the resources, they've got capital. They're busy fencing the land. You must never be scared of these people. There's no history that tells us black people that are incompetent when it comes to farming. We've been farming even before 1652. Even today, our black people are still farming. As you come here using R36, you'll see our black people are busy farming on the left, even on the right. Now, the problem is the resources. You're not funding our black people. You're busy taking money and money of tenders and everything, giving your own comrades to go and chow the man. And people who want to work the land are busy coming to offices. The old man came here, he told you, they've claimed land since 1980, even to the back. So he tells us, you want to be seen, you're busy romanticizing everything, using nice, we don't know to comfort who, or to make someone feel, we don't know, because right now your people who vote for you, in majority, who are staying here in the rural villages, we don't see you doing anything. You are busy there in Parliament discussing with Afri-Forums and everyone because they've got the resources to come there. And then you listen to them, you even take them serious because they threaten you to say that we'll take you to court. Right now we don't have money to take you to court. What we'll do is that we'll just go and expropriate the land ourselves because we're capable of that. We are young people, we are hungry, we want the land, we want schools, we want malls in our townships. You're not even worried why white people are not here. They've got land, they're fencing land, we are busy discussing. Before you know it, you'll realize, please now, for sure some of us are even coming here for the last time. You know, history has a way of repeating itself. Let us not. No, thank you, Chairperson. Thank you.
So, for,
Yeah.
for, for the part that he spoke in Sipedi, he said the other reasons why white people are not here is that they are busy blocking rivers that run across their farms, creating catchment areas to contain water, and that's why our people don't have water where they live.
Just before you speak, as you all know that we only have a limited number in the hall because of COVID-19 health protocols. There are other people that are outside, it's too hot outside, they would want to come in. We can't allow them to come in when we have this number, because we would then, even ourselves, be breaking the health protocols. So what are we going to do? After we have pointed to people that want to speak in all the 3 blocks, we will then ask those that are outside. They will also come in groups of 10 for them to make presentation. Otherwise, we can't say they must come in, because someone is going to come in and sit in the block that we have already pointed someone from, and we're not going to go back to that block. So if you have, maybe they're coming from your political organization, just inform them. They will be given a chance to speak. But we are still starting with those that are inside. Thank you.
Se kuna vanhu vo tala lava nga hala handle ende ka hisa, mara hi nge va pfumeleli ku va nghena la ndzeni ku hi ta va hi tshova milawu ya swa rihanyo. Se leswi hi nga ta swi endla i ku loko se hi hetini hi lava nga la ndzeni, hi ta pfumelela lava nga hala handle kumbexani hi 10 va nghena va ta tshamela halaya va endla ti-submissions ta vona na vona. Se hi ta kombela varhangeri va mavandla ya tipolitiki mi nga vulavula na vanhu van'wina lava nga handle ku na vona va ta nyikiwa nkarhi wo va nghena va ta endla ti-submission ta vona. Inkomu.
Thobela, emileni mo pele ya parliament ke Stephen Moagi from Ward 31 ka na mogara mozwane wa lenyenye wa Mopani Zani. Ke mo pele ya parliament o le ge le ra se mathomo ke tsana le yona parliament we go ba re bolela ka yona bill ya section 25 act 63 ya 1975 le yona ya zeba parliament o ka re bua ga malwanyana kana marolo ya lenyenye re no bolela ka ntho ka iti ga re zebo le rotoka ansara go ba le rota ga ke le kema mo pela bra le ke bolela leadership na bjale parliament ya giso go bona batho ba bantsho re tseba boze gore ke ne nagiwe e kwa e gai ba bua le beng le bona mo pele ba re jete yona bjane bjale a re tlo go tshaba maburu a wa mararo ba re fena ga borena morago bjale ka ge ba re jete yona kwa morago without go lwa le borena gore ro boja fela ka molomo ba re ke boni seke ba re jela naga ba re ke gamo seke ba re jela naga bjale so ge re ka lebelela ka mmušolo wa bona kwa morago ka ra parliament ya bo bona o bo sano motho o montsho mara bjale ka ge borenana bjale mmušo wa borena go no le maburu ka mogare a parliament ya bona that's ka kgone go ja decision ya gore ka ijea bja naga e morago ka gobane ge le bolela le bona ka sekgowa ene sekgowa la tsebona le sezebe bjale so be re gope gore ke rutone go tsenya nako maburu a mararo a re fe naga borena morago before re to botja baswa ba 2000 gore batho ba re tšetše naga bjane ka ge le a tseba gore batho bawe ba re tshwantše kwa morago for to rutšela naga ya borena le tše di bene ka mogare ga naga ya borena ene le seka lebala gobane lena palamente ya borena ya South Africa ka 1994 ge di tša mmušowe batho bao ba maburu ba bararo ba re sainisitše kontraka ya 100 years ka 10 ranta gore tše ba di ownane tša borena ba tota ba re fa tšona after 100 years ke a leboga.
I go by the name Stephen Moari. It's not the first time I come here. We've been addressing same issues over and over again, of which one of them is the land that was forcefully taken away from us. The 3 wise, they should come forward and bring back the land. In 1994, when we signed the contract, they said that in 100 years, the land will be given back to us. Now, in what he said is bring back the land.
Thank you, everyone. 132, popularly known as Ramgago, not far from where we are now. The issue of Section 25. You people came to us and you were given the mandate to go and amend the Constitution, right? You played the delayed tactics that you are doing right now because you've been told that the land must return to the rightful owners of it. Until now, it hasn't been done so. So, as far as I know, the issue of the land is like this. The land should return to the owner of theirs. And the land was taken from the black peoples from 1913, right? So it's a section says. So from 1913 to 2021, the land has not yet returned to the rightful owners. So in the parliament, you sit down and remember the constitution was drafted in 1996 and the land was already taken from the black people. So the tactics that is being played now is the same tactics that you've been playing for the past 100 years for the people of this country to get their land back. Now, the simple thing is this. The land reposition or whatever you call it, it's not like you don't understand it. You understand it very well. But the problem is that the delaying tactics that you are playing now is going to take so long to the point that there will some people like this gentleman here, the chief. There will be no such people to elaborate to their grandchildren how the land was taken from them. They will just go with the system of that they are not owning the land. They will even forget somehow that the land is theirs. So I say, go and amend the constitution. Look at the matter of appropriating the land without compensation. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson and Program Hall, of course. My name is Mpora Malepe, a leader of young people of the ANC from what date? Thank you. Okay. I think we should stop with this thing of coming every time and then preach letters and everything and go straight to the real issue, which is addressing issues of the past. We are all aware that this land was taken, or was taken from our forefathers through a barrel of a gun, even though your books are saying a different story, which says, our forefathers were given this billion and everything, or land and everything. So this thing here, wasting resources, coming here each and every year, whereas you should be saving these resources, maybe you fund the education for our students from poor backgrounds. You come here every year, you tell us about wanting to amend the bill and everything. But while we know that when the land was taken, there was never any public hearing. They came, the minority just came and then took the land away from our forefathers. But today we are told, let's go there and sit. Actually, I don't find a logic behind all this. Or why do we have to come and sit here and then discuss about something that was not discussed when it was taken away from us by those by the then regime, the apartheid regime? We are not sending you there in parliament to go there and then you drink tea and everything. I think it's high time that we go, even though the position of the ANC is that we do support this amendment, section 23, even though section 25, but it's fine. Fellow comrades, I think let's go back to the drawing board. Let's go back and do whatever that was sent there to go and do. Because Should we pause all our daily activities to come and listen, and then the next thing, after 6 months, you call us again to come and listen to you? Abuzilidia yini ku? Irengizwa leni ana mo ke kwatile ka mo.
The Spady part says that it's been a while discussing the same issue.
Okay. My name is Hobela Ignatius. I'm presenting on behalf of the ANC. Our presentation summarily is about justice and economic inclusivity. We come from a premise that the fears which ordinarily could have existed through this bill, which we support, are addressed through clause 12C. And if you read clause 12C, then it means all the fears which could have ordinarily been a hindrance to progress are actually addressed. And therefore we call on the process to unfold as quick as possible. And we also agree on the point of separation of powers, that the custodianship of this act should belong to government other than the courts, because in events of conflict, courts must enjoy their rights to resolve any existing contradiction that might exist during the course of this conflict. The second area we should want to include, or the other area we should want to talk to, is that land in South African context represents a vehicle for transformation and social justice. And these two principles lay a foundation for economic inclusivity. That economic growth in South Africa should, amongst other things, include all people that are found in the Republic without race, class, and gender. So for that reason, part of resolving economic injustice will include the transformation of the economy through distribution of land without funding or compensation. The last thing which we want to put is that the ANC believes that putting land in the custody of government or the state is tantamount to putting land in the custody of the population itself. And therefore, there should not be anybody in doubt that the custodianship of the land by the state will somehow rob any civilian in the Republic. And finally, we then say, in the presence of injustice, economic growth for the entire population will ordinarily be hindered. And therefore, the expropriation of land without compensation as contained inside this bill is wholeheartedly supported. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Standing here, Victor Muratsetla, representing the region of the ANC, Nomen Mashavani. I want to acknowledge the presence of the Provincial Secretary, Comrade Soviet, as well as Joshua Matlow. Ours, as the ANC, is very clear, and we agreed in our 54th conference. The submission, it reads as follows: that in line with Constitution of the Republic and the Property Clause, the Expropriation Bill is the draft law of general application that will allow, under certain circumstances, appropriation of property and land without compensation. We support the Expropriation Bill 2020 so as to redistribution of property and land to address the centuries-old national grievances of land and property forced dispossession. We support the framework in the bill, in line with the Constitution, to guide the process and procedure for expropriation of property, including the land of organs of state. We support in particular clause 12C, which allows where expropriation without compensation may be just and equitable in terms of the Constitution, in the public interest of property and land earmarked for socio-economic reform and distribution. We support the expropriation authority in the state since the bill is about the public interest and public purpose. And we must determine those instances where compensation may be paid, clause 12A, where no will be paid, clause 12C. That this is a function of the government, not the court. If anyone has the grievances, they have the right to approach the courts. Courts cannot be ones of to make determination for the compensation of no compensation. That is our submission as the level of the region of Nomen Mashawa. We thank you.
Thank you very much, and good morning. My name is President Shkwambana. I am representing COSATU in Tzaneen local. I'm here to support the ANC statement. The ANC statement that says the expropriation of property and land as a just and equitable process to restore the dignity of our people in addressing both access to property and land, and that expropriation of such without compensation is part of that process. We are guided by the 54th National Conference resolution, which states that the expropriation of land without compensation should be amongst the key mechanisms available to government. As COSATU, we support in particular clause 12, which allows where expropriation without compensation may be just and equitable in terms of the Constitution and in the public interest of property and land earmarked for socio-economic reform and redistribution. So as such, we support the expropriation of land without compensation. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good morning to everyone in the world. I'm Mutsusi Rabtata from COSATU. The Congress of South African Trade Unions, ourselves as COSATU, representing the workers in this part of the country, we welcome and support the appropriation bill as tabled. As workers and as a federation, we participated in NEDLEC in 2013 and also in 2019-20. And we are aware and sure that our concerns were dealt with satisfactorily. We support the bill as an important legal, administrative, and political tool to capacitate government to implement the people's historic objectives. These objectives include key matters such as eradicating the legacies of apartheid, land reform and restitution, and ensuring that the wealth of the land belongs to all who live in it, as calculated in the Freedom Charter. We really welcome the additional provision of the 2020 bill, providing the compensation and nil compensation. In that regard, we support 12C, which is in itself critical in addressing the inequalities of apartheid and colonial era to ensuring that compensation is. The replacement of the 1975 Act is long overdue. It doesn't represent us anymore. We are hopeful that this will be a key legislative tool to empower the ANC-led government to implement its electoral manifesto and speed up radical economic transformation, thus frustrating the reform and restitution and ensure that resources benefit us all, doesn't benefit quite a few. Despite opposition to the bill, from right-wing and alarmist organizations, we strongly believe that the bill is democratic, progressive, and in line with the constitution of this country. Those opposing the bill are mostly those apartheid beneficiaries and those in luxury of our ancestors' land. If we double check in this district, people are just cramped in one place, whereas somewhere, a huge land with all minerals owned by just one or two families. We therefore, as COSATU, support the bill. Thank you.
We have been joined by the representative of the Royal Council or the traditional councils in one of the areas of the Mopani region. You are welcome, leadership. We are here. There were hands in these 2 rows that we didn't point. We're still coming to that block. Yeah, we're still coming to that block. Okay, thank you. Oh, you have lowered your hand. Okay, you are number 1. Yes. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. No, at the back. Number 7. Yes. Number 8. Number 9. Mama, is your hand up or are you just standing? Okay, number 10. There are still other hands. We will join you with this group, ne? Don't panic. Please be reminded it's 3 minutes, and when you exceed 3 minutes, we indicate that you have exceeded 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. My name is Sipho Lelobe. I'm a member of Economic Freedom Fighters. I'm from the village called Parare. So, Chairperson, I don't understand why are you spending state money with this thing? Because you came previously here and we brought our submissions that you should go and expropriate land without compensation. So then, but today we are surprised to see you again here. So we are concerned that the expropriation bill that you want us to make input on is legislation that must tell us how the Constitution allows the expropriation of all land without compensation, how the state is going to expropriate land, how the land is going to be distributed to everyone equally, how our right to use the land is going to be protected. But since you are here, Chairperson, you must know that our position remains the same. We want all land to be expropriated without compensation. This is the only way we will address colonial land dispossession and the legacy of apartheid. We did not give Parliament the mandate to find ways to pay for land that was stolen. Our land is not a commodity and should not be for sale. The expropriation bill is an unnecessary distraction, and we see it as a way to hijack the real struggle of black people and will not solve the challenges of land. The money that is available to pay for land must be given to black small-scale farmers. Black people in South Africa need their land to farm, build houses, and build businesses, and the expropriation bill is not going to help us in doing any of these things. No legislation is above the Constitution. Chairperson, those are my submissions, and thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm Jamela Mhlari, representing the ANC and COSATU Young Workers. I'm here in a plenary to say we're disappointed by the Parliament that it must understand the rights of Africans who made you to be in Parliament, and you must respect us. We are supporting the ANC in a Section 12C, in the respect of that, bring what belongs to us, because it's our land. And we want to tell you that you must prevent the future and find the right balance that protect the people of South Africa, capitalist state, and accelerate the economic growth and job creation amongst us Africans. Because we believe that when we have land, we have survived through agriculture.
No, 26 man, more man. I need that land. What something about do? But we try house is a need. And again, the project. I was not those projects regular those projects need that stands are say who read those projects, then please Parliament then yeah, give it each. Thank you.
The Spady part says that on this month they came and took the land from their forefathers. They're saying that they need the land because there is no employment. Now they will need to start the projects. They're talking about the stands which they were forcefully removed by the Zaneni municipality, who is now applauding when people are busy addressing issues.
Thank you. I greet Parliament. My name, Kenneth Dube, for EFF. So I have a problem when I see you. We send you and then to go to Parliament, and then you didn't do the work. And then you came here again. It seems when I look you are changing like a chameleon. You are right here, but when you go through from the Parliament, you are changing the colors. We need land, actually. We don't need this dictionary. This is a dictionary. Because you can't come with this dictionary and give a lot of people here, and then you say they must read all of this inside. I'm not supporting this devil's dictionary. One thing that I've been supporting, I'm an agriculture person. So I need land. Now at the moment, I've gotten a seeds here, where I've been going to grow the seeds. You are wasting a time. You are not doing the correct job. This government is a fake government. Because when you check, a lot of people inside there are corrupt. Even when they make these things, they make like they know that there is some benefit that they are going to get. When you go back, when you come back again, we have a good answer. When you will never come with a good answer, it means when you return back, maybe sometimes it will be blood. It will be blood. Because this government, for an example, if I can ask you how many people there have been putting the vaccine, you are going to find that there is no one that have been putting vaccine. It means you are going to come and deliver COVID-19. If in a seriously government, if it's in a seriously government, when you came here, there is a certain people there, and then they are going to put us a vaccine. So this government man is in a fake government. Thank you.
All protocol observed. You have from what the Duano Namalenye representing the economic freedom fighters. Chairperson, we are still amazed to what are you still doing here? Because we've made our submissions into public hearings and our position remain unchanged as the economic freedom fighters. We are saying go and amend the section 25 of the Constitution. What you are doing right now, you are misusing the state resources, organizing these public hearings. We are saying to you, go back to the parliament and say the majority of black people and the economic freedom fighters in Mopani are saying, we want you to amend the section 25 of the Constitution. This thing of coming here with documents, expropriation bill, government, we don't want to entertain these bills. Go and amend the section 25. Land first and the rest shall follow. Ke a leboha.
The spady part says that the government is busy eating their money. And then nothing is being done about it.
Yeah, thanks very much, Program Director, and greetings to all and all protocol observed. My name is Malesela Mafokwane, the Secretary of South African Communist Party in Zaneni, Sub-District of Lawrence Pukanuka District. This program came a day before the 10th of April, which marks 28 years after the assassination of Comrade Chris Hani, the Secretary General of South African Communist Party, by the apartheid regime. May his soul rest in peace. As the party, we say the land was stolen and it must be taken back to its rightful owners. When those who were in power in the past 400 years steal the land, they were not consulting anybody, and let's give thanks to the leaders such as Nelson Mandela and others for having a leadership ideologies of having CODESA and other structures which paved the way to the first democratic elections in 1994. And if it was not because of that, we should have to go out and do what Mugabe did in Zimbabwe to take land forcefully. Then we are too democratic, but democracy that is dragging us back in getting what was taken forcefully from us. Go back and amend the Constitution so as to speed up this process. We therefore support the land expropriation without compensation bill as South African Communist Parties and in South Sub-District. Maibuye e-land.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Speaking here is Mandla Shkwambala, the President of the EFF Students' Command. Chair, we are here today, and when we are here, we are not happy about this process as the EFF, because this is the process that which is meant to misuse the state funds. When we are in the crisis as a country, but yet we come here discussing issues that Parliament does not have a political will to bring solutions to it. Why are we here after when our people have spoken that go and amend Section 25? Why are we still here today? You don't bring answers to us to say, indeed, we have amended Section 25. We are saying to you, our people have been robbed
of their birthright to land. There is no progress, there is no freedom without land. Land is life and land is everything. If indeed you are serious as government that you want to give South Africans and Africans who are living here in South Africa the land, please go and do it as the EFF we are saying to you. This process shall stop and it shall stop now. What should be discussed or debated in the near future is that the Section 25 has been amended and people are going to receive the land and the land is going to be expropriated without compensation. The reason why in universities we do not have white people or white students suffering of fees is because their forefathers, is because their fathers, is because their mothers, they own land. Black people, wake up. Land is everything. If they indeed want to give our students free education, the free education will come from the land. Because our parents, they are going to farm. Because our parents, they will work the land. And when they work the land, they will be able to pay for our education in the institutions of higher learning. Today, students are striking there on the street because they do not have money. Why? The only reason is because their parents, their forefathers, they don't own the land because the land is the future. The land is everything. Amandla.
Abshen Parliament. Abshen Parliament. Simlo kwata. Amis kwata karim pondru. Ikombela lis. Menga abuila. Logma wisa pepeli. Ikarele. Man wona soko numuntu anjani. Parliament kuri. Amihlamal kurwani eka FF. Yaban Lavansa, Yavan Abe, saying Genaka Fimakai, Chavale Siswana, at Magalet Mitwana, Mitian Dragli Parliament, it won in quat. Let me take Dragli Parliament, it won in quat. Nibakala de Lavama Tekagli Parliament Deli. Kazu, why Vangai Picheni? Often about Mabasiel, a young generation, Evana Labalok Tatir. Mirabana be skolwe, evana ba bereng, boy skolen ba heta, patha me makai. Ku melela ni ba khale zelaba, aba humena ba kufana ni ba ngwanyana bana, emuna huma thame kai, wangense evana la ba trongoli. Inko manota janka.
Greetings all to all the parliamentarians. When I stand here to request you that you never come back holding the paper at hand. The only thing we need from Parliament is not the paper, it's the land. Some of you would be surprised to see an old man like me sitting here on the side of the EFF. EFF is for youth people. We are tired of the old parties which are not doing anything. Now we were forced to go to EFF because we had war. Another important issue is I can see everything that happens in Parliament. We can see everything clearly from the TV. We have old people in Parliament. It's like a retirement village. When are those old people going to retire from Parliament and make space for youthful people who will bring back our land? We request that the old people must retire and make space for youth people because our children have gone to school, they have graduated. They don't have space to get to the Parliament because the Parliament is fully occupied with old people. We request that the land be returned.
My name is Simon Mangena from Letaba sub-region, Kapani Township. I'm representing the EFF. I want to believe that this parliament is not here to fool us around again. Like the ruling party is always lying to our people. Willing buyer, willing seller principle has failed for so many years to address the imbalances of apartheid. We do not understand why Parliament is spending money on this process when there is a process to amend the Constitution and thereafter amending the Constitution. This committee must bring a legislation informed by the Constitution. We made our submissions into Parliament public hearings on the land question, and we told members of Parliament to go and amend the Constitution to allow for expropriation of all land without compensation into the custody of the state. We are concerned that the expropriation bill that you want us to make inputs on, it's legislation that must tell us, now that the Constitution allows for expropriation of all land without compensation, this is how the state is going to expropriate land. This is how the land is going to be distributed everyone equally, and this is how our right to use the land is going to be protected. But since you are here, you must know that our position remains the same. We want all land to be expropriated without compensation. This is the only way we'll address colonial land dispossession and the legacy of apartheid. We did not give Parliament a mandate to find ways to pay for the land that was stolen. Our land is not a commodity and should not be for sale. The money that is available to pay for land must be given to black small-scale farmers. Black people in South Africa need their land to farm, build houses, and to build businesses. The expropriation bill is not going to help us in doing any of these things. No legislation, it's above the Constitution. I want to appeal to this Parliament that when you go back to Parliament, ensure that you carry the mandate of our people. Don't go there and try to serve the interest of those who stole the land from our forefathers. Don't tamper with our patience, because we're running out of patience soon. There will be a revolution.
Thobela dumelani ke a leboga ge mmušo wa rena wa tswa o dile moonu lenyenye re kgone o ntšha dillo tša rena re na le mathata ge le ebile le dula moo ke ka baka la borena re ke le kgetha o duela 1994 re dutše re kgetha ANC
ne?
One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two.
Yes, oh, make it better.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Before you go there, before you have more challenges.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because it has to be those. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Which one is this?
This one. Yeah, that one.
Is it online?
No, remember it has to come from. Yeah, it has to come. Nine, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. One. Will be. Don't have to use this. Lapel.
But this one is not working. The lollipop is not working. The lollipop is not working. I tested this audio, my students right. No,
was waiting yesterday. Let's put it on the other. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
I know why.
Why?
And I think it's a thing. Switch off that transmission.
You change the frequency.
Yeah. Okay. Just talk now.
This one. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah. That's it.
Which one is which?
Put this one away. Okay. Talk.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1. No, I'm not recording. 1, 2, 1, 2. No, the levels are fine. Yeah, the levels are fine, but it's on two channels, both channels.
I've plugged it on channel 1 now.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Can I put this one up?
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now, since you are good with this one, people can start. Now,
I'm going to set up the channel now.
Hello. Listen, switch it off this thing. Hello, thank you. You see?
It's working fine.
But me, I hear or maybe.
No,
Hello.
it's the same, it's a frequency thing.
Okay.
Can you hear me now? Hope testing.
I can hear you
It's a
clear.
frequency.
Okay. Hello, thank you. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Unfortunately, you're gonna use, if you want to record only for camera, you're gonna use one mic. So now the person will be speaking, maybe the neck and interpreter. But it's only for the camera. Is that fine with you? Because this is the improvisation that we can. Tada. No power the case, yes? No, not power. Now, the decision is the chairperson has agreed you can record only for the camera. So that is why this, when I talk to you, if I record there, you can. But it will not carry the sound in the hall. The sound in the hall, forget about it.
Yeah, but this one talks to the camera for sound.
Only meaning for the proof to say
Yeah,
somebody was presented. So now we have to, this one is going to be in front of the camera. So, but you don't have a mic stand. You're going to use this one. Mic stand. Because I see you have picked yours. No, I want this mic, I want the mic stand. Yeah. Now continue with your. Huh?
Can I get the tape?
Yes, yes, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Sure. Yes, yes, yes. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yes, 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Test 1 2 1 2 1 2. Speaking that is there. Testing 1 2. That's fine. Yeah. Okay, we're good. Stop. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Okay, let's do this. Masienze kasirole kakhulu. Yeah? Testing 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, this one you're gonna be talking because I'm gonna hear you, and then they're gonna be talking on that one.
Thank you. I indicated that our sound people are assisting us. You may not hear through the speakers, but they can hear clearly through their computers. So the mics that we are going to use now, they are going to assist us with recording. That's why when you are speaking, you have to be in front of the camera. It's only these two mics, the one that is with me and that one. So can you please again, those that are leading, whether it's a civil organization, whether it's a political party, please ask your people to come inside. We were going to start with this row. We had to finish up this row, and then these 3 rows there. We're giving you only 2 minutes to ask them to come inside, and then we're going to point to those that are going to speak.
Baka hina swi tikomba onge ti gates a ri ke wiswisi hambi swi ri tano mhaka ya ku ya emahlweni hi ta swi kota hikuva ti-technician ta hina ti kombisa ku loko ho va hi kha hi tirhisa microphone leyiwani na microphone ya mutshama xitulu va ka vulavula hi yona hi ta kota ku twanana mi nga vileli ku va mi nga twakali a swipikarini hi ta va hi kha hi tirhisa ti-microphone letimbirhi loko swi ta ka laha vulavulaka a fanele ta fika a yimalani a tirhisa microphone leyi a nga yi khumbanga ivi a nyika mina mundzuluxo hi endla tano sweswi hi kombela varhangeri va tiphati hinkwavo na minhlangano leyi nga kona ku va rhamba vanhu va vona va vuya hi ta kota ku ya mahlweni na ntirho.
Oh, okay, we gave you 2 minutes and then 2 minutes is over now. Can we reduce the level of noise, please? Can we reduce the level of noise? Would also like to acknowledge our colleagues that have since joined us. They were with us even yesterday. Honorable Matthias from the EFF, Honorable Ntlangwini from the EFF, Honorable Matebula, who is from the NSOP. Thank you. We have leadership of the COSATU. I heard them when they were speaking, we didn't acknowledge them. The leadership of the SACP amongst us, and the leadership of the SANCO. You are welcome, leaders, in this August event.
Because this is the government that was meant to diffuse the state fashion.
parliament leswi nga hi joyina leswi swi katsaka maka EFF na mxaviseki lava nga kusuhi na vona na xirho manana mathebula lava humaka le ka NCOP va tlhele va amukela ku swi kona swirho swin'wana swi huma ka COSATU leswi swin'wana swa swona hi nga sungula ntirho naswona tolo namuntlha wo yisa emahlweni a hi kombela ku ya mahlweni hi nongonoko walowo.
Thank you. And then can those that we were about to point on the side, can you please raise your hand? We want to finish this row first and then come to those rows. We're through.
Loko ya famba gezi a hi ri eka tlhelo leriwani naswona a ku ri na van'wana a va yimise mavoko hi kombela lava a va yimise mavoko va kha va yimisa mavoko ku sweswi va ta kota ku tekeriwa enhlokweni hi ya mahlweni na ntirho.
If you joined us now during this load shedding or whatever, please join those rows because we are through with all these rows. We are here. Can you please raise your hand?
Loko ku ri ku ku na lava va ha ku fikaka sweswi a ka ha timeki gezi lemukani leswaku tlhelo leriwa hi ri hetile sweswi hi ta va hi ya ka etlhelo leriwani swi vula ku mi ta boheka ku tshama tlhelo leriwani ku ri mutshama xitulu a ta kota ku nyika nkarhi wo vulavula a hi yimiseni mavoko lava hi tsakela ku vulavula.
Okay, thank you. Can you raise your hand, please?
A hi yimiseni mavoko matsongo.
I had already passed that part, Sisi Obuti. Can you please join that side? The one behind you? Yeah, she must join that side. Okay, so number one. It's number one, yes. The one behind you? Number one, yes. Number two. Number three. Is your hand up, young lady? Okay, you are number two, number three. And then we're coming to this row. Okay, number four. Yeah, number five. No, they can sit there, then you take one who is going to speak. Number six. Number seven. Number eight. Number 9, number 10. For the sake of those that came in later on, please, when you are to speak, introduce yourself. That is, you tell us your name, which organization are you representing, or maybe you are an individual. You have only 3 minutes to speak. Before you speak, let's allow those that are coming in to sit down first. Okay, you may start.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in the hall. I'm Naomi Exile, and I represent Agri Letaba, which is a farmers association in the Greater Zanin area. AgriLetaba is committed to the development of agriculture. Commercial agriculture ensures that our country is food secure and that the sector remains globally competitive. Expropriation or compulsory acquisition of land is a tool which has been used internationally for decades. The modern approach to compensation is based on a principle of equality. We support the principle of equality. The bearing of public burdens is generally accepted in the constitutional democracies. Current landowners should not be required to bear a disproportionate burden for the need for land reform and the public interest. Our main concerns regarding the expropriation bill is the definition of expropriation. The proposed definition limits the concept to instances where the state acquires rights in property. This definition excludes statutory limitations that undermines the economic utilization of property or dismantle its content from the concept of expropriation if they do not include the transfer of property rights to the expropriator. In other words, the definition excludes constructive expropriations, no obligation to the use of land productively. The danger of such a narrow definition is that the government can expropriate land at any time without compensation. This will severely limit property rights. The focus should be on the loss that the owner suffers, not on acquisition by government organs. Another concern is the nil compensation clause. Agricultural landowners cannot be treated differently to other landowners. In our view, an approach whereby compensation paid for land is generally substantially below market will have dire consequences for investment in and lending to the agricultural sector. It will also become more difficult for all farmers to establish themselves as they will also, I'm almost done. Okay. To establish themselves as they will also struggle to get access to sufficient production credit. I'm almost done. Okay. Okay, so I must stop now. Okay.
We just trying to reconnect everything, so she will then start again her presentation.
One, two, one, two, one, two.
Thank you.
One, two, one, two, one, two. One, two, check mic, one, two.
All right, thank you. One.
Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2 1 2.
Hello, testing, testing. Testing, testing.
Okay.
Ready. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Naomi Excel, and I'm from Agri Letaba, which is a farmers' association in the greater Letaba area. Agri Letaba is... Okay. Agri-Letaba is committed to the development of agriculture. Commercial agriculture ensures that a country is food secure and that the sector remains globally competitive. Expropriation or compulsory acquisition of land is a tool which has been used internationally for decades. The modern approach of compensation is based on the principle of equality. We support the principle of equality. The bearing of public burdens is generally accepted in constitutional democracies. Current landowners should not be required to bear a disproportionate burden for the need for land reform in the public interest. Our main concerns regarding the expropriation bill is the definition of expropriation. The proposed definition limits the concept to instances where the state acquires rights in property. This definition excludes statutory limitations that undermines the economic utilization of property or dismantle its content from the concept of expropriation if they do not include the transfer of property rights to the expropriator. In other words, the definition excludes constructive expropriations, no obligation to use the land productively. The danger of such a narrow definition is that the government can expropriate any land at any time without compensation. This will severely limit property rights. The focus should be on the loss that the owner suffers, not an acquisition by government organs. Another concern is the nil compensation clause. Agricultural landowners cannot be treated differently to other landholders. In our view, an approach whereby compensation paid for land is generally substantially below market will have dire consequences for investment in and lending to the agricultural sector. If the market value of farms is driven downwards, this will eventually impact on food prices. It will also become more difficult for all farmers to establish themselves, as they will also struggle to get access to sufficient production credit. Land reform is a national priority and should be funded with taxpayer money. One industry cannot bear the cost of a national priority. Landowners whose land is earmarked for land reform purposes must be put in a position to continue farming elsewhere and in a similar manner. Experience in other countries shows that expropriation does not speed up land reform significantly, nor does it make it more affordable. The contrary seems to be true. Expropriation has a limited role to play in land reform, but only as a measure as last resort. When expropriation is utilized, it should be a fair and transparent process. Safeguards should be in place to prevent any misuse of the power to expropriate. Current landowners should receive prompt and adequate compensation, which will enable them to start anew somewhere else. No one should be worse off because of expropriation. Thank you.
Ke Daniel Molewa, spokesperson sa Batlhabine Traditional Council. Ke eme mo ka thumo ya Kgoshi Jack Mogoboya mabapi le janaga ba land. Ke tla thoma pele ka go lefa claim number ya ka le Kgoshi KRP 11495/1998 ke claim number ya Kgoshi Mogoboya eo. Re kwa re tshoganyana mo re le ba ga Mogoboya gore mmušo wo goba yona parlamente ye e na le bokgoni goba e ka kgona go bušetša naga go beng ba yona na, because le tsene ka mo gare ga naga ya magoši ntle le go ya mošate la lotšha la ba lata la amogelwa le a ya leno tsena la tšwa la tsena la tšwa, mara re a makala re a bona ka kwa bo Britain ge le ya ka gona le tsena mo la ga bo Prince Charles, Prince William le a la lotšha, mara mmušo wa rena wa go etela pele ke ANC ga o lotšhe mo magošing. Le tsene ka mo nageng ya Kgoši Mogoboya le dira tše di dirago le bile lotšwa le sa lotšha le go mo tseba le mo tsebe, mara le bolela ja naga ya gage a se gona o dio kwa ka mabarebare. Ke yona ntho e le teetše gona, ke yona ntho e le kgethela yona na, ke mantšu a Kgoši. Bjale a re boleleng ka taba ya go bušetša naga go beng ba yona ba maleba. Mmušo wa rena le ga le tšea naga le e bušetša go batho ba ba wrong, a go re gore ge le re naga ke ya batho ba e boela ga batho ba maleba le be le ra batho ba šou fela na, le batho ba so ba kry-a naga ya batho in a wrong way. Mmušo wa rena o tšea naga Kgoši Mogoboya o e fa magoši a mangwe, Kgoši a ntše a lebeletše.
About this process as the EFF, because this is the process that which is meant to misuse the state fund. When we are
Action Parliament, you know what?
One, two. Thank you, thank you.
Okay. Ke be ke sa tlhaloša gore gona mo re dutšeng gona mo ke nageng ya Kgoši Mogoboya, empa ka dipampiri tšeo di dirilego ke mmušo wa rena e bitšwa black ya Kgoši Make. Ke na le ga Nkuna mo go bitšwa ga Kgoši Mohlaba, ke naga ya Kgoši Mogoboya, empa ka dipampiri e bitšwa Kgoši Mohlaba. Bjale ke bušetšwa mohuta mane ya maleba go batho go beng ba yona le sa e kopantšhe le beng naga ba maleba le dio tšea diphetho. Re na le claim ye re lefile nomoro ya yona mo ya KRP 11495/1998 ya bušetšo ya naga ya Kgoši Mogoboya. Ke kgale kudu le mamotho a re ke re ansarana. Re na le di untouchable farms je leng gore Desiree van der Walt wa di tseba, matlhatse ge re mmona mo Letsitse Level, Diroy, the Taba Estate, CP Minar, and others Gamola Action Babona, the untouchable. He kgoši ba re ba nyaka go tseba ka naga bona re boe morago bona ba re ga wena kgoši a wa tsena sekolo ba boja ke mmušo ba o kgethilego. Thanks.
Okay, okay.
The lands belong to King Moroboya. What kind of leadership do we have?
Greetings to everyone under the sound of my voice. My name is Lisedi Mabileja. I stay in Linyenye and I'm a member of the Economic Freedom Fighters. I am very much humbled to come and speak in front of you guys. To the chairperson and everybody else in front of me, all these things that are being said and were mentioned before, that you guys are just there drinking teas and you are not doing anything about this issue, they all come from painful hearts. To say that as a young person, I am here crying out unto you guys about this issue. And even my kids and my generation, they are still gonna come and cry out unto you guys about this issue. What is the delay for? Why are you doing that? We want all land to be expropriated without compensation. Our land is not a commodity, so it should therefore be not for sale. Our land, we want to use it for so many things. We really do not know how to express ourselves. We do not know how to explain ourselves. But I believe you're saying, we cannot come here all the time. They are crying over and over again. What are you doing about it? Come on, somebody. Do something. I repeat, we want all land to be expropriated. Compensation. Thank you.
Ngiyakubingelela sihlalo.
I'm referring to mine. You may start with it.
Ngiyakubingelela sihlalo. I greet everyone from members of the Parliament from National Assembly. My name is Tiza Tlokwe from the Democratic Alliance. I can't waste time, Chairperson. I'll go straight to section 12. Directly impact that right of the property owner at his place control
Yes.
over the land above the right of the title deed holder. The section determines that irrespective of the whether a person is registered owner of the property, which the owner of the property, with the title deed, therefore, if the person have abandoned the land by failing to exercise the control of it, the land can be expropriated without compensation. In easier, this closure could create the fertile growth for the land grab and land invasion, because once the land have been invaded by the unlawfully occupied, the registered owner can be demanded to have the loss of control over the land. It is imperative of the Act provide the definition of what constituents' failure to exercise control over the land, and that it's all provided detailed process which will be followed, which requires evaluation of requirements of determine if the exercise of the failure to exercise the control of the land in the land question. I want to give an example, Chairperson. The ruling party is failing to lead the land reform. From here we are now, there is the cooperative in the Tamina cooperative there. The government provided tractors, the government provided center pivot, the government provided money. But that not today, that project is bushes. That project is dilapidated. We knew very well that the government can't do that because inside of the government there's people who are corrupt. Inside of the government there's people who are they want to reach themselves. They don't care about the people of South Africa. If you don't have a title deed, the government can't support you. I reject the land without I reject the land compensation without in the land. Thank you.
I would like to appeal to the House at large that when someone is speaking, if we're moving around or making noise, we can't hear that person speaking clearly. So when someone is speaking, can we then ensure that we keep quiet and reduce noise, please?
My name is Doreen Ramasalam from Greater Letaba. I'm representing DA. Dobolela ka Sepedi. Mabaka a dirang hore bill e se ke ya ba ya e ka se tswe ebile e passage ke ya. Firstly, I'm sure batho ba di dinga moka ka mo. Maybe 90% we don't have title deeds. I'm not even a title deeds. Even myself, you know, now it's 15 years. With the RDP, even today I don't have a title deeds. If you got what's going to happen? One of the Raga Guaranduela, which are Garcia. Lehona, and maybe a little rate. Land acquisition without compensation. Renagaribe on, I'll leave it again. If you're not title deeds, because the mega banking, but one on our property. Because to be regular property, Gabalauри. I want to say, Papa and Bob Savarnolini, I got on a title deeds. I'm not told the Kumana Renagari Plus. Plus, I know what I got tractor, I'll go by a banking, Nolin, where you don't have nothing. I want to title deeds. When I got property road, go for a Gaki Babanchan. When now 20 over Unolito Gapana, Kabara, the Gayon. Ura Burnava, or a DA, Arbimelana, Arbimelana, Gabagalor. Our ruling party is failing us. Arbimelana example, Nolin, Kamomorauka Monoli, Sapiko. Sapiko Yelabat by the Babanagan, I have one. Now it's a white elephant. You might have no idea about Loma. I failed over about Travan Chiba, Kumani Verego, but Travan Chiba, now go jealous of Pico function. Now, but there are unemployment rate. Kabagala Sapiko Wile, Benibana, Bajerna, Nagamachot, Yalebu.
The reason why our bill are failing is because we do not have a title deed. 90% of us who are in here do not have a title deed. Even if I die myself, I've got a daughter who's going to be homeless because I do not have a title deed. Even if I want to go to the bank as an assurance, they will need a title deed for my property. Now the ruling party is failing us. For example, Sabiko, which is now not functional, it is now causing a lot of unemployment. What is actually needed is a title deed so that we'll be able to own farms and properties.
Yes. Thank you, Chair, and greetings to all members present here. My name is Cedric Sishoga. I'm the provincial deputy chairperson in Limpopo. I'm going to present. I want to make it clear that no legislation is above the Constitution. The Parliament came here several times to hear the inputs with regard to the amendment of the Constitution, in particular Section 25 of the Constitution. And you know, it worries us, Chair, because you know that in 1996, when this Constitution was put into law, it mandated you as parliamentarians to go and have this bill as a law. You waited up until 25 years. Now you want to come and pretend as if you care and you want to come with something. And we want to tell you now, the reason you are bringing this bill now to us is because you want to distract us from the real issue, which is expropriation of land without compensation. We therefore, as the EFF, call for you to reject this expropriation bill and mandate you to go back and push for the expropriation of land without compensation. That is the position that we are giving to you. And equal to that, we want to say to you, as you're amending the Constitution, make sure that the ownership of the land, all land of South Africa, reside in the state's hands. So we are therefore calling, Chair, let's abandon this process, because this is just a waste of time, it's a waste of resources, and the money that we are using to do all this hearing could be used for other important things like water in Mopani. I thank you.
Chairperson. Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Chava Malaji. I'm representing the EFF. We made our submissions into Parliament Public hearing on the land question, and we told members of the Parliament to go and amend the Constitution to allow the expropriation of land without compensation into the custody of the state. But since you are here, you must know that our position remains the same. We want the land to be expropriated without compensation. This is the only way we'll address colonial land disposition and the legacy of apartheid. We did not give Parliament a mandate to find ways to pay the land was stolen. Our land is not a commodity and should not be for sale. The expropriation of bill is a necessary distraction, and we see it as a way to hijack the real struggles of black people and will not solve the challenges of the land. The money which is available must be paid to small-scale farmers. Black people in South Africa need their land to farm, build houses, and build businesses, and the expropriation bill is not going to help us in doing any of this. No legislation is above the Constitution. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ernest Mkawana.
Apologies. Can you please hold on? We are appealing to the members that are here, everyone who is here. Let's give someone who is speaking a chance so that we can hear clearly. Please continue.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ernest Mkawana from Agric South Africa. Agric South Africa believes that the past must be dealt in a positive manner. Future solution-driven conversation, a holistic Agri-SA plan for land reform and rural development. With land audit, business engagement with government, family believes that free market and basic economic principles that drives property rights and equality of opportunity. Transformation and land reform will not be possible if liquidity in the food system changes. When the agri-economy explodes, the whole economy explodes. Agricultural landowners cannot be treated differently to other landowners. Agri-SA believes that land reform is a national priority and should be funded with taxpayers' money. Agric SA is concerned with clause number 12, paragraph number 4 of nil compensation. As Agric SA, we oppose expropriation of land without compensation. Thank you.
Inhlekani, Itoni Johanna wakazita, nehoma eGreater Giyani Municipality ahansi ka-TA. Mhaka leyi nga kona a yi seketeli vaakatiko. Mina hi ku yimela vandla ra DA ni ri na hi kaneta hi section 12/3C. Mhaka yikulu leyi faneleke yi humelela i title deed, vun'winyi bya misava. Loko munhu a ri na vun'winyi bya misava u ta swi kota ku ya ebank va n'wi nyika loan a kota ku xava teretere yo kota ku rima. Mara loko i ri hava vun'winyi bya misava title deed u ta yi kuma kwihi loan? Na ikhonomi ya South Africa yi le ku stafareni, na tibangi ti le ku onhekeriweni hi ku a ti nga swi koti ku yi nyika loan yi nga swi tivi ku loan leyi yi ta hakeriwa xinjhani hi ku hava vun'winyi bya misava. Se mhakankulu leyi nga hi pfunaka is a title deed leyi nga ta hi kota ku luma tiloni, ti yisa na vana eswikolweni, ti hi nyika na titeretere to aka hi tona. Se handle ka sweswo swi vula leswaku ha ha ri eku huhweni a hi na nchumu emavokweni ya hina. A hi yimeleni timhaka ta hina hi ku kuma title deed hi nga swi kota ku ikhonomi ya South Africa yi kota ku va kahle yi lula. Inkomu.
Greetings to all. I am Johanna Zita. I come from Greater Giyani Municipality. Specifically, I reside in Section A. Up front, as a representative of the DA, we want to say we reject this proposed bill with the harshest possible means. What we instead advocate for is the issuing of title deed instead of expropriation. Because if someone can have a title deed, that person will have the real ownership of any property, which includes the land. And with that rightful ownership, that person will be able to go to a bank, ask for a loan, or start any form of business. And as such, property will serve as the security. To this end, all I can say is what we are doing as the portfolio of Parliament is to play a children's game. While touching there, living there, come back and touch there, instead of doing what is real and proper, which is the issuing of a title deed. Thank you.
Thank you to all those that have presented. When we are pointing hands on this side, somewhere outside, we want to give you another chance. And we have asked those that came in later on, when we have already pointed, can you please join this side? We're starting now, counting on this side.
Mingahlamali ko hikwalaho ka yini hi vuyelela leni loko nkarhi wa ka ha timeke gezi van'wani a va wu kuma nkateko hi mhaka ya sweswo hi swona swi endlaka ku hi tlhelela eka tlhelo leriya mi nga hlamali mi twa ko va na xihlawuhlawu inkomu.
Okay, I believe this will be the last group that will take. Honorable Mayor, you are number 1. Number 2, Mayor. Number 3. Number 4. Yes, number 3, number 4. Oh no, we're still on the row. Number 3, just next to you. And yeah, number 3, number 4. Yeah, number 5, yes. Number 6, number 7. This is the last group that we are taking. We won't take anyone else other than this group. The person with the yellow t-shirt. Yes, gone now. Why did you raise his hand? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. We applaud the opportunity and the space to be able to raise issues with Parliament. It shows that this is the government of the people, by the people, for the people. Thank you very much. I am Comrade Mario Mangena, the chairperson of the ANC here in Makshope sub-region, commonly known as Zanin. When the ANC was formed in 1912, the primary objective was to fight and win the dispossessed land from the rightful owners. And we are fully aware, Chairperson, that in 1913, the government of the illegitimate government then also passed a Land Act in 1913 to legitimize their own perspective upon land ownership, which continue to deprive us. As the African National Congress, we resolved in 1955 that we must win back the land, and the land must be shared among people who work it in order to defeat famine and land hunger. We are here today to confirm and support the proposal of the bill as the African National Congress, because we know that the bill, once it is enacted, it is going to change a lot of things. Our communities, as we hear many people complaining, we want to take advantage of the opportunity and say, once the bill is enacted, it is going to change the lives of the people. It is indeed long overdue, but we believe that at least there is a step taken today. That is why we are applauding and appreciating. We want to implore on you as members of Parliament, go back there, expedite the process. Do not continue to do red tape there. Do not continue to waste a lot of time. Go there, enact it, and make sure that the people of South Africa, Africans in particular, continue to benefit, because as we are deprived of a lot of things. The African National Congress support the bill. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Sadi Tiba, representing the African National Congress. As the ANC, we support expropriation of land and property as a just and equitable process to restore the dignity of our people in addressing both access to property and land, and that expropriation of such without compensation is part of that process. Chairperson,
Time is up, me.
Okay, we support the bill 100%.
Good day. Good day, the committee and the representative of political party, including our provincial secretary in our midst. I'm Siti Mujaji, representing ANC Norman Mashabane region. I'm happy to stand before you as a parliament with understanding that you are true to redress the evil that has been made during the apartheid era. And we believe, as we are discussing here, we are redressing and we are trying to correct what has been done in 1913, where black people were deprived when coming to the ownership of land. I believe you are coming to redress what has happened by your predecessor, the then Parliament of 1956, when they passed the Water Act, which was attached to a principle of repairing, whereby the water usage license was attached to the ownership of land. So as we are speaking now, the land that we are taking, unfortunately, is not even attached to the water right use. So it's just unfortunate. Hence, I'm coming before you to make a submission that in this bill, I'm suggesting and proposing that you expropriate the user right, the water user right, so that when you take over the land, the new ownership must have the right to use the water. Unfortunately, people were complaining about the farms that are not working, they are not producing. It's just unfortunately you brought land, you didn't bring alone the water right use. So I'm saying in the bill, when you take over the land, please let the owner of the land also hand over the water use rights so that those who will come will be able to use the land profitably. I therefore make an addition to my fellow comrade who came before me, and I therefore support the bill.
I was told what was always done in the dark will always find a way to shine. Back in there. Kata wa ya mawarena, ba ile ba tjela ba go ba rena le polase. Le mawarena le maru a bona. Ba bola ba go ba rena ba tjela ja go le polase le ba ba dira manyo. Antu ne ke na kwa working. Re shine ka yona ka working. Re nyaka mawarena re appropriate for compensation. Ije dintšhi re go re togola ba so ba rena ka muwarena. Considering related to the land. The future of South Africa through that land. That's because that land is also to Obashu, Repala go Shumisa, Repala go opportunity. They will go through it, reveal a better future. Just like the children, then Naraka build a legacy or the generation is at whatever comes over become. Osola Bonavana generation of one affair.
The Afrikaners took our land and then they killed our elders and buried them where they are. With that being said, we are saying that if a land is being given to us, we will be able to have the same legacy as they are having, and we'll be able to build a better future for our generation.
Good day. I am Tabora Malekana from South African Communist Party. This thing land expropriation of land without compensation. batho ba ba sokolang ba yona ba ba ntši le di-fruit tšana ba ba sepela mo lefaseng ba sa di bone di-fruit tša yona ka bonna ke be ke re naga a e bušetšwe go beng ba yona ntle le tefo ene re tleng re reng ge re e bušetša re sekeng ra dira batho matlaela ba ra dira batho ba se kwešiše gore go direga eng goba ga o direge eng go na le batho ba bantšintši ba e le goreng go gona bjanong ba patelwa ditšhelete tša dinageng tša bona tše mo ba bego ba dutše gona especially batho ba ba dutšeng mo lenyenye le nkwankoa mo ba dutše gona especially in Tzaneen ke naga e le gore e khumile kudu mara batho ba le ba go tšere 25,000 ba fiwa tšona ya rela gore ba rekišitše naga ya bona e ka se kgone go ka ba gola ka selo seo se beng gona ke gore please ntho e ka ba dipolase e ka ba naga a di bušetšwe go beng ba tšona ge di bušetšwa go beng ba tšona dipolase a re bolele gore balemi ba kubiwa mo go tšona e tla re mola ge dipolase di le mola go beng ba tšona ra re balemi ka gore ba na le botsebi bja go lema ba tla ba kgona go leasa to those farmers ba kgona gore ba tle ba tšweletšetše ba di tšweletšana on a certain profit ye ba tabane ba e krile then should go back to the rightful owners of the land e swanetše e be bjalo ka lebaka la gore ge re ka se dire bjalo re a senya ke na le bonnete bja gore mo lenye go tliwa gabe le go bolelwa ka ntho ka eteng ka bonna ke be ke itšea gore ga gana bjanong ge le tla mo le tlo re botša gore a way forward ke eng re dira eng a re direng ka baka la gore ga gana bjanong le sa tlo boya gape la boraro le sa tlo gore botšiša ntho ka eteng ke na le bonnete bja gore ntho re e bolelang mo today even other times re e buletše bjalo ga re re gore re koba di-farmers we are not saying away with the farmers should be there and ba lease and the rightful owners ba re ge ba le kua ba be e le gore ba na le the community ba batla ba rutang go lema we are united here in South Africa we are a prosperous land in South Africa we must be united and go forward with unity.
Morning, afternoon, members. We're coming from EFF and want to be straightforward to apologies. SACP. Then what?
We want the land to be taken back to its rightful owners. In the process of doing that, we don't want everyone to be confused. We want proper protocols to be taken in order so that people will be able to understand.
Can you please, please the audience, I don't want to say which political party, but can you please give those that are speaking the chance to speak We have listened to you. We want to listen to everyone. So if you move around while someone is speaking, you are then denying us the chance to listen to that person. Can you please do that and be in order, members? Please, 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 please.
Okay, thank you so much, Chairperson. Can I just try to summarize what he has just said? Although my understanding of Sepedi is a bit tricky. My name is Judas Muhoboya, and I would like to appreciate the committee for coming to us, and I acknowledge the presence of the municipality. So we as the Muhoboya clan, we are saying, please listen to our needs, go back and deal with them. Thank you so much.
Afternoon. I'm Ramo Batlodi Moare. I'm Ramo Batlodi Moare representing ANC. So I really support the land expropriation without compensation. So
Just hold on there. Can the members of the EFF be in order? I think now I have to call you by your political party. Please, we want to listen to everyone here. Please continue.
okay, I'm Ramabat Lodumuare, representing the ANC. So I really support the land expropriation without compensation. So we have a lot of land in our province, such like that one of Hans Marenske and those one of Pitwar and David Truett in the Harmony blocks and the Saldorp farms. So as the ANC, we really support this land expropriation without compensation. We need our land back. Our land cannot be eaten by civilized country as a dinner table. I thank you.
And the last one would be Madam Speaker, though she is here with us. Remember, I didn't allow the members from Parliament to speak because we're still going to debate this in Parliament. But Madam Speaker, she will remain here in Greater Tsanin, and she won't be part of those that will be speaking. So she wants also to contribute in this, as we have heard the mayor also speaking. Madam Speaker. Or for the camera to, can you please go down there so that the camera captures you clearly?
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and all honorable members present here, the mayor, the leadership of the ANC as led by the provincial secretary and the traditional leadership, all stakeholders present here. My name is Mededike Lady, the Speaker of Greater Tsanin Municipality, representing Greater Tsanin Municipality. That the Greater Tsanin Municipality support the expropriation of property of land as a just and equitable process to restore the dignity of our people in addressing both access to the property and land, and that expropriation of land of such without compensation is part of the process because we are a local sphere of government and we are at the cold face. And as the ANC-led government, this is about redressing historical injustice and dispossession of the black majority. And it's also a vital opportunity to unlock the growth and redistribute assets and promote socio-economic transformation. And all of us were aware that
It is our responsibility as government, led by the African National Congress, to implement the policy and the program of the leading government. They've indicated the people that came before me in terms of the things that guide us in terms of the resolutions. Of course, we are guided by the material conditions on the ground, physically, and the Freedom Charter as the whole face of government. We submit that in line with the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa and the property clause, that the Expropriation Bill is the draft law of general application and will allow, under certain circumstances, expropriation of property and land without compensation. And as a local sphere of government, we've got the responsibility also to guide the people on the ground in terms of the law. And as we are doing this process, and as the office responsible for public participation, we are fully aware of what we are doing and we are acknowledging what we are doing. We really support what is taking place. In support with the particular clause 12C and 12A, and also not undermining the separation of powers in terms of the executive, legislative, and the justice department. So we therefore, acknowledging those facts and also not agreeing with the issues of the title deeds, because we believe that the issue of the title deeds will go back to the people that are owning those processes again. So therefore, as Greater Zambia Municipality, as the local sphere of government, we are supporting this Expropriation Bill 23 of 2020. Thank you.
We appreciate all the presentations that have been made today. They are very clear from all the political parties that are here, leaders of civil organizations, the organized labor in the form of unions, our royal councils and traditional councils, our municipality. We really appreciate all that you have said. We had a good meeting. Tomorrow we're going to Modimele. I hope that I'm pronouncing it correctly. Mole or Mole. Okay. We're going to Modimole. Apologies, Diateta. So I have serious challenges when I have to, but that is not, it can't be that in the 27th year of freedom, some of us can't speak other languages. It's wrong for me, and it's wrong even for everyone here who can speak Sepedi, but siyabulela, siyabonga. Gia Lebucha for all the presenters. We are going to take and consolidate all your presentation with the written submissions that we received, with the oral presentations that were made to the portfolio committee, and all the reports of the public hearings that we will be doing. Next week we are going to Mpumalanga. Tomorrow we are going to Waterberg, and on Sunday we'll be in Capricorn in Pulukana. We also appreciate that the leaders of the political parties, they come to lead their members here. We really appreciate that to leadership. Sikalage, when you go back, please observe the health protocols. I can see there they are sitting together. We must always observe the social distance. The COVID-19 is still here. On the issue of His Highness, His Majesty the King, We wrote a letter following the protocols to the National House of Traditional Leadership, indicating that we will be coming to Limpopo, and as such can they inform all the royal councils that are in Limpopo. We sincerely and humbly apologize to His Highness, His Majesty the King, if that invitation didn't reach his office. We sincerely and humbly apologize. Those that are here and representing him, can they please inform him that the Portfolio Committee of Public Works and Infrastructure really apologize for that, that he was not informed. We thought that he had received the invitation, and as we have seen the royal councils that were here, we really apologize for that. It was raised, that's why we feel that we have to. Those people were here even before our political parties. They even participated when some of the political parties were formed. We respect our traditional leadership. Nihambe kahle, ni drive safe. Siyaleboga. Thank you. The meeting is adjourned.